Monitoring. In order to run tests, I have to trigger the star message event of the process. I can do this in two different ways. The first way, let's say the logical way of doing this would be to enter my portal. I'd go to my tasks and I'd click here on start process. And here I can see I have a process I can start. This process is called product request. I can click on it. And here I've got the form that we designed. Remember, we indicated that we wanted it to come up with some default data because I didn't want to type in the email every time I make a demonstration. Here we have the product field where I can select a product. Okay, so I can click here and I can select a product, for example, Samsung Galaxy Tab 3. If I want to see the record of this product, here we can see it. We could have more information here like the price of the product, the user guide and so on. But this is all we've done for the demonstration. So we can see we can retrieve information from external data repositories. Here I also have some comments that are already uploaded. They're already by default, so I don't have to type in comments every time. We're just doing the demo, so I'm not going to type in all this information every time I launch one of these processes. So the next thing I want to do is send the request. So I'd click here, and now we can see our request has been successfully sent. And there's going to be an approver who receives this request. So we can see here, obviously since I configured the process, so I'm always going to be the person involved in every single activity. I'm the approver right now. So here I can see the name of my task is revise request. I can see someone requested a Samsung Galaxy Tab 3. I can see their email. Remember I mentioned I was going to add some additional information to better identify these processes. And I indicated that the product and the email were going to be themes. This way it appears in several grids and it's easier for me to identify these processes. So this would be one way of launching a process, but I could also launch it in another way. For example, here we have a star message event, and if I click here, I can copy a link. If I copy this link, I can paste it here, and as soon as I paste it, it opens the form. So let's say someone wants to launch the process by clicking on a link that's inside of an email or that's inside of another website or portal. They could do that perfectly, okay? So now I'm going to request an office drawer and I'm going to click on send request. There we go, my request was sent. And now we're going to see a third way of launching this process. Well, first of all, if I go to my workflow, here I can see now the approver has two different tasks of two different orders that he needs to approve or reject. Okay, but we're going to see how to launch this star message event in a third way. So we can mark here the option web services, and we could decide we want to publish our process as a web service. We could publish this start message event as a web service. So all we have to do is select the type of web service. We can give it a name, for example, product request, and all I have to do is save. There we go. My web service is ready. I can start invoking this web service, or I can trigger the web service from any external application just by using the web service that we just created. And as you can see, I don't need any technical skills in order to generate a web service. The system does it all for me. All I have to do is click a button and I'm ready to go. So we already know 3 different ways of launching a process. I'm going to go back to this supervisor request task. And I'm going to approve one of these and I'm going to reject another one. Okay, so I'll enter the first one and I'll say no, I'm going to reject. Sorry, we must recycle one, whatever. Okay, I'll submit. So this time I'm not approving. Okay, and here I am going to approve. I'm going to say yes, I do approve. I don't have to do anything else. Here we can see that we've conditioned the comment box, so it only appears depending on the user's input. Okay, this is what we call conditional logic. So now I click on submit. So now this one's been triggered, and now if I update, we can see I've received as a requester, as the role requester, I've received one of my orders to decide whether I want to reprocess it or not. Why? Because one of my orders was approved and the other one was rejected. So first I'm going to see this one that's rejected. I'm going to click on it and I can see this warning message appearing. And I can say, okay, I'm going to decide if I want to reprocess my request or if I want to cancel it. I can read all the comments. Here I can see all of this is just visible. I cannot edit it, but here we can edit. Okay, so here I could actually change my comments and I can decide whether I want to reprocess or not. Let's say we do want to reprocess and I hit the button submit. Okay, now I want to monitor or I want to see what's happening with this process. So I can click on my process status and here I'm going to see all the processes that I've already launched. Okay, obviously I've launched more, but some of them are already finished. The only one that is still active would be this one here. So I want to see the status and I can see that the order has been reprocessed. Well, first of all, it was approval pending. After that, it went under revision. And now there's been a request to reprocess the order. Okay, let's see what happens if I approve. So here I have sorry, not this one. Okay, here we have the supervisor's task. So I'm going to say I do want to approve and I'll hit submit. Okay, so now all of the requests have been approved. I don't have any activities here in my workflow anymore. If I go to my process status and I want to filter by my finished processes, I can see all the tests I've been running and I can see the office drawer test and I can see the status. So here I can see all the steps it went through. Here I could also see an explanation. It's not appearing because I didn't add it in the configuration of the process, but usually here I'd explain how I can track my process. And then here, each time a new step is involved in the process, it would that step would appear here. So I can track my requests. Another more advanced way of tracking my requests would be this option here that's called reports, where I can generate all kinds of different types of reports. There's one that's called execution, and I can click on the process and I can see all the instances that I've launched. All of these are tests that I've launched, and I can see, for example, this request here. I can see absolutely everything that's happened. Here I can see the flow went directly down. Okay, so it went to the supervisor approved it. After this approval, it went to this notification system task, and then it went down here and the process ended. Okay, so here I can see much more information. Besides, I can drill down, I can see each single activity and what was input inside of each form. Okay, so I can see all the values that were input. I can see the panel. The panel is like the data table where I have all the values that were input in each one of the fields. Okay, so I can monitor the comment logs, the documents that were attached, the chronometrics. So I've got a lot of let's say more advanced information. Depending on the type of role who wants to see this, see the information of the process, well, they might decide to use one option or another one. This is, let's say it's a much more complete report than the one we saw earlier. Here I have my other process where I requested an office drawer. And here I can see the flow actually took a different path. It went this way, then it went this way, it got reprocessed, and then finally it went down this way. Besides, once it got approved, I received a notification. So if I go to my email inbox, I can see the emails I'm receiving informing me that my requests have been approved. Okay, so here I can see the message. We can see it's appearing as plain text. So I might want to make a few modifications in my process.